Welcome to the latest word on Black news with Brittany Jones, bringing you powerful conversations.
Black history is American history. American history is Black history. You don't study the history of America like history is a public relations exercise.
Exclusive stories.
That Black women in slavery, it's kind of like our bodies have never been our own. So you start to hear these stories, and these were stories about young women. They were not adults that was brutally raped.
Thought-provoking topics.
Who's the voice of Black America right now? And it feels more like a choir than a preacher. And it's a choir that's singing on different notes, not a choir that's singing in harmony.
And transformative perspectives.
I have learned so much about myself.
Haven't we all? That inform, inspire, and ignite change. You're watching the latest word on Black news.
So what are some reasonable first date expectations for both parties? What do you think?
Outside of social media?
Yeah.
And I'm
First
saying it because
date
remember,
expectations. Yeah, because social media show you that he put you on a helicopter, put you on a plane, flew you to Dubai. Come on.
I know. And the reason why I said outside of social media, because I remember in the last 2 years, there was this big old social media viral thing that was going on. Judging a man based upon the first date and if Cheesecake Factory is okay.
I remember that.
Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's all about the initial greeting. How do you want to meet with the person, and not judging everything within an hour or 2 hours. A lot of people are, come guarded, come with a conclusion already made. I think the openness of giving yourself, because I do believe in dating. I believe in whenever you date someone, you're not dating just to get data, which is dating means data and collecting data.
Yeah.
I do believe that dating really reveals yourself more than the other person. It shows how ready that you may not be. It shows you that I'm not just single, but I'm not available. I don't have any room for to nurture not even just a basic friendship, or do I even want to be friends? It reveals where you are at this moment of your life. If you're open to anything, so it does a lot. So I think that initial meeting will actually expose everything. It shows that as much as you think you're ready, you may not be as ready as you say you are. So as much, so a lot of times the men be like, "Hey man, if the right person come along, I can't wait to see her." Well, when you do see her, how are you going to really respect? And then also, the other thing is this whole type of woman and type of man. Many of us, we don't even really know who we are fully right now because we've evolved. So to have a type on someone out of your appetite and interest and who we are, it really, really makes you have to do like a self-analysis on yourself to be like, let me spend more time with who I am so I can know what I can attract. And then when it comes, I can treat it with respect. I don't disregard, I don't judge it, and I don't see all these different things that it's not true. Because then you'll turn off the person before you can turn them on. And then you're mad, like, you just start judging yourself. Did I say something wrong? Did I say something right? And then you're like, okay, the only references I have is the past. And if the past was raggedy and toxic, you're at an all-time loss. And that's a horrible thing.
Yes. And Dr. Cortez, you talk about stripping away the financial pressures. If you take that away from what the first date looks like, or just dating overall, specifically we're talking about men, because sometimes there is this expectation that they have to, like you talked about the Cheesecake Factory situation, that they have to spend a certain amount of money. But if you strip those things away, what should the first date's focus be on?
I think what should be the focus is asking the right proper questions to ask. I wonder why on today's date was it meant for me to meet you? And why did I meet you at this time of my life? And I'm just curious because I don't think we meet people for no reason at the times where we met them. So I think that I think those questions of being more inquisitive inquires and requires for you to say, okay, so with that being said, let me just ask you that question, ma'am or sir. I think let's just ask some questions just to see, and then be honest. Honesty really, really reveals a lot because I know in dating many people think instantly, well, whatever answers you give me is going to portray a representative. Get a representative versus saying, let me just introduce myself as a regular person. not as a point of interest. Now, if you want to say within there, I do find you attractive, but I do
Mhm.
want to get to know more about you if you are really honest. And then I'm going to be as honest as I can with you because I have nothing to hide versus being so guarded. Because if there's interest there, then you will want to be interested and show interest, not give you everything that I think you will want to know and think you will, because pretty much every setting that people meet people in depends on how you met them. We kind of go off that and then keep going. So, for instance,
Mhm.
I met you in the gym. We want people to think that we're healthy, but it could be your first day at the gym.
This is true.
Yeah. I mean, come on. We think if we met somebody at a party, we don't instantly think that they are a party person because we've seen them dancing. It could be the first time out of a whole 2 or 3 months that they had a chance to party. We're going to instantly judge. So we usually judge people based upon you initially meeting them versus saying, I know you met me like this, but this is who I really am. It just so happened I was on my way to the store. Good. And we have a base foundation to set a foundation. And let's just get the assumptions out of the way if there's
Yeah.
any assumptions that are in the way. And you can just be upfront with people. Hey, when it comes to an area of interest in dating, this is, how I am. This is what I'm looking for. Do I have a type? I'm open. That will kind
That's
of
good.
open up versus put all these different stigmas and all these different criterias. And usually, as people doing that, the other person won't even say how they honestly feel, especially men. We'd be like, well, but it doesn't go for me because I'm not that smart. I didn't go to school. I don't have
Mm.
that type of back. So we instantly just start omitting ourselves and disqualifying ourselves based upon what you told me. And then by the time the person goes, "How about you?" The average person are on borderline between telling the
Mm.
truth and lying. Do I just give them what I want to say because they did express interest and I am attracted to them and I may not be enough. So the other thing is many men don't feel enough. I do hear it in the shop all the time. I don't think I'm enough for what is being portrayed to connect with the type of woman I'm looking for because of this long criteria list that's out here. Many men, many deal with that. And they're like, do I try to keep reaching to be this enough? Or should I get to know the person just to see, what's the bottom line or what's the drop line? So then I could be like, I knew it. I knew it was a catch.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, it's just getting the chance to hear from that perspective is so good. Like I'm definitely leaning in because I've heard from a lot of my friends, like this is what they talk about all the time. And so
Yeah.
them just wondering, and some of them are saying, like, I don't even have those expectations that some men think we have, just as what you just said to your point.
Yeah.
And then they kind of shut themselves down from not even approaching people like my friends. I got quite a bit of them single, by the way, if anybody's listening. And so but to that point, like everybody tends to set these unrealistic expectations. You have a unique lens into working. You said you do marriage counseling. You also do couples counseling, I'm assuming as well. And
Yes.
then also then you're counseling and coaching people individually. Are these some of the things that you have to kind of create step by step plans for them? Like, are they talking about dating quite frequently to where you have to kind of give them the structure to say, here's how you handle this?
I would say yes and no. Um,
Okay.
realize years ago it was yes quite a bit. Now,
Mm.
since a lot of things have changed in the last 5 to 6 years, there's a lot of people who I had to kind of discover in talking with them that they really do want the companionship, and I really can go both sides, but a lot of them just want that inserted answer just to see, am I on track or am I being too hard on myself? Or if am I too late? Am I behind? I hear a lot of that. Am I behind on stuff because I've been waiting and I've been saying no to stuff, because I have a particular person,
Mm.
but because they feel like the pickings is slim and it's just all these different people where they don't want to go higher than that. So I come in and go, well, listen, first of all, who do we know that knows everyone? And most of them get stuck. And I go, okay. Based upon their spirituality, I go, there is one person that I know that knows everyone, and that's God the Father, our creator. Okay. So
Mhm.
whichever way you deem him, let's go there. And why don't you talk to someone that knows where everyone is? And you have to have a faith and a belief to know that this person who's our higher powered, the Lord God, that can actually send these types of people around you because not everybody is broke. Not everybody is after your money.
Yeah.
Not everybody is after bad health and all the stuff that social media, society, everything that we read has portrayed. So what if you do meet someone who's just like you, who's not caught up in all that type of stuff, who just want a general conversation? Then what? And many of them was like, Well, if that come across my desk, then I just wait for that. I say, yeah, but what if that start happening? This whole little thing about bringing stuff to the table. Well, what if they have more things to bring to the table than you? Then what? Now you're intimidated because they got a lot to bring to the table, and they may even have more than you. So a lot of men I know, have a nice laundry list of things that they have. But what if that lady has more than you and still willing to share them? I know some men who will talk themselves out of opportunities in dating because it didn't look like what they was looking for. It actually exceeded their expectations, and that person was humble to be with them, and it was mind blowing. Like, yeah, the moment that you find something wrong about me, you're gonna leave me. They start taking that abandonment approach
Mm.
and just taking themselves off the list and don't think. And I'm just like, why would you even do that to yourself? To think you're gonna not be enough because they're gonna find out that you had a raggedy past. What if that person tell you my past was worse than yours and I still want to be with you?
Mm.
So I've had a couple, I've had a couple of women that I had to speak to like that in my chair, in my practice of serving and stuff like that. I was telling them, so what if you come loaded? Are you gonna not go to outings because you're like, I'm getting dressed up, getting my cosmetics together because you don't think that somebody can be divinely sent to you to find just you? You don't need a whole bunch of options. You just need one.
Say that.
You know, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
My last, well, coming up on the last question here, I wanted to see if you had any last advice for particularly Black men who may be experiencing this. The way this economy is set up right now, the price of eggs, the price of an apartment, all of these things. Any advice you would like to give to them as it pertains to just kind of still giving them hope in this
Hope.
dating space? Yeah.
I would say to every man who I can speak to right now, if you can give yourself permission to not attach yourself to the opinions of societal norms and what they're projecting, stay away from that and so you can not make that a consideration. Really get down to your own list of things that you can write on your piece of paper or in the notebook of your phone, and write down your own particulars of what you would like to have and what you desire. And just know that everything you wrote down is out there, but it's not out there in like a big buffet form. There's a custom person for you that would fit you. You just have not met them yet. And you have to give yourself some time to create and actually exercise patience because it's going to be worth it. You would rather have some weight of patience with the right person versus to go fast and have to undo stuff, divorce, annulments, and moving out of places versus moving in. So have that alone time, value it, value this space so you can see how, because when you value the space that you're in, you're able to teach people how to respect you. And then if they want to get to know you, then give them some new information, updated like 2025 this year, not the way your parents did it and all this other stuff, because the other person is going to look across the table and go, I heard about all the other references, but I didn't hear about you. So give yourself time, love on yourself, not arrogantly, but love yourself in a way of confidence. Get a good faith and a higher belief in God, because you're going to need God for all of this, so you can have that balance. I would say that balance is your key here. You don't want to be over here so much over here that you under here, and all, you want to have a good balance. There's a biblical scripture that says a false balance is an abomination to the Lord. So you don't want to have so much over here that you over here. You want to be able to say, I'm willing to go out. I'm willing. So when you're willing, you're available, you open, but you're not naive and you're not guarded, but you are wise. Exercise those different gifts that you have in you, and you'll be well on your way to bump into several people that you have to ask God once again. Who do I sort out? Not to be a player, not to be all over the place, and not to have all these soul ties, because that's going to confuse you, but just kind of narrow it down so you can be very selective, because this is the times that we're in.
Awesome. Fantastic advice right there. Everybody needs to listen to that because it really pertains to not just men, but all of us. And before we let you go, you have a webinar coming up. You're an author. You're sharing how to create a book. Tell us a little bit about that before we
Yes.
get out.
So you can go on my website, Dr. Cortez D. Sims. I am doing my second round of how to write a book, how to write your first book It's a free webinar on Saturday, July 12th from 9 to 10, just 1 hour virtual. I'll send you the link. Just go on my website, sign up, and we're going to talk about this book that's been longing to be produced out of you, and you try to get things started and you've always wanted to get it done. Let's talk about that so we can go ahead and materialize that this year. So that's going to be a nice situation. I have a good running track thing going on. I have about 5 authors that have a book out right now, and now it's just your turn. So if you can join me with that, you're going to have a great time discovering you and getting your book officially publicized. Yes.
That's so awesome. From an author to an author. I know what it takes. It takes a lot of work. So excited that you're doing this because people need it.
Yes. And then also, if you're in the state of Arizona, I have a save the date for October the 18th. We're going to have our holistic health summit, which we're going to deal with stress unplug on how you can bounce back and be a good person out of the resilience. So get your breakthrough, because a lot of people are stressed. Almost everyone is stressed, but how do you unplug that stress and really be able to walk in a place of balance? So that's another thing that's coming up October 18th, 2025.
Sounds like I need to fly to Arizona because I need that
Come
de-stress.
on. Come, come on,
Oh
Arizona.
my goodness. Dr. Cortez, it's been such a pleasure. You have been amazing. I know people are going to be so blessed by just listening to what you have left us with today, because it's really some action people could take from what you said. So we appreciate your time.
Oh, I appreciate you guys. Thank you for the opportunity.
Many thanks to Dr. Cortez Sims for just getting us all the way together with that knowledge he dropped for us. But guess what? We know this is a hot button topic, especially for our millennial crew, because I've heard from you, but really for anyone who is still dating, right? And this is where you have the chance to weigh in. We want to hear from you. What are your thoughts on this? Have any of you faced challenges dating, especially with the way this economy is set up? Please share your stories in the comments. We want to hear from you. And remember, the news doesn't stop here. Make sure to follow us on Instagram, like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already. We want to thank you so much for watching the latest word on Black News. I'm your host, Brittany Jones. And until next time, take care.